Hi, my name is Nadhege Ptah, and I am the director, writer, and actress of Paris Blues in Harlem.
Spell your name for us.
My name is spelled N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, D as in David, H as in Henry, E as in Eagle, G as in Good, E as in Eagle, Nadej. Last name is Ptah, P as in Paul, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, H as in Henry.
Great.
Thank you, my love. Hi, I am Michele Baldwin. That's Michelle, 1L, Baldwin, like James. I know you know how to spell my name.
Lovely.
Okay.
You guys win basically just off of the names. You
Okay,
win. You win.
yay!
Okay, so Nadege and Michelle, tell me about the project that you brought here to the festival.
Okay. Paris Blues in Harlem is actually a Paris Blues that exists in Harlem. It was founded by Samuel Hargreaves since 1969. This is one of the oldest jazz clubs that exists in Harlem. So I decided to do a story about it because everybody thinks that it's just some elders sitting what might look like a shack, but it has such a deep history where he migrated from Alabama, was friends with Rosa Parks, did the Montgomery Walk, was in the military, fell in love with Paris, and loved the film Paris Blues. Came back to Harlem, was working in the club. The owners were moving to Texas. That's when more of the Caucasians were leaving Harlem, and asked him he should actually own the club. So they sold the club to him, and it's existed since 1969. Has gone through the drug era. It's surviving gentrification. It's actually benefiting from gentrification. So he's one of the oldest surviving jazz club that exists now, sitting on a property that's worth well more than 10 million.
Yes.
Yes. So I decided to do the story based on the real challenging issues that's facing gentrification in Harlem, which is we lost Lennox Lounge, where Billie Holiday was there. And I realized that he was a smart businessman. So I used some of the elements of that story and put it in Paris Blues, as well as learning the history of Paris Blues that exists right there, where the Black Panther site used to exist right across the street. Now it's a bodega, right? So he's seen everything, and he is still standing strong on this property that he owns, and he's not losing. But the story is different. It's loosely based on him. So that's what Paris Blues is about. Paris Blues in Harlem.
That's
Yeah.
such a rich background and a rich real life story.
Yeah.
How in the world did you discover that?
Well, I was fundraising for my first film,
Okay.
and I've always seen it exist. So, like any Harlemite, you just pass it. Elders, yeah, elders, yeah. It looks like a shack, and it still has the same decor since 1970, 1969. So you're just thinking elders just buying time. This is not a real business. It is an actual real business that tourists all over the world knows about it, that people in Harlem may not know about it, that they come and really want to listen to live jazz music. So he donated to my first film, so I would keep him abreast of what's happening. And I started asking questions. I said, wow, this is a real business. Whoa, this man is unassuming, and he's a smart businessman, and it's actually worth a lot, and it has such a rich history that I felt like this unsung hero needs to be brought to the forefront. It's more than this is a jazz club. It's a safe haven. Politicians fundraise there. He got a proclamation from Obama. Several politicians has given him proclamation. And free food he cooks from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. You could come and eat. Even if you don't buy a drink. You're hungry, come sit down and eat.
Wow. Okay.
Nice Southern charm.
Wow. He's so complex. There's so much that he's doing and working
Yes.
on. But first, I also just want to shout out, like, that's amazing that because he was someone who had already donated to another project of yours, like
Yeah.
that's actually what prompted you to reach out to him to get his own
Absolutely.
film. That's brilliant.
Yes.
Because you already know that you have a supporter.
Yeah.
Love that. Love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But now with such a complex story, with a guy who has just done so much and does so much. How do you compress that into one film? How did you even start with that?
Ooh, the challenging thing is there's so much that you can say about this story to try to condense it in a short. So I started focusing about, well, the story is about a granddaughter who wants her grandfather to accept the realtor's mounds of cash in exchange for his jazz club.
That's a real story. I feel like many people,
Yes.
that's a controversial one.
Yes, it actually exists where realtors come with mounds of cash. And she wants money, he wants legacy. So he has a few hours to make a decision, right? So I decided to condense the story there and focus on one day as the clock is ticking.
Oh my God.
And then you get to see how the club is run from the morning to the afternoon to the evening, because he changes outfits all the time, because he is the fashionista. Oh, yes, go ahead. Go ahead, tell him about his
Oh
fedora.
no, Mr. Sam with the fedora, the alligator shoes, and I mean he just wears it. And he comes in the morning, you're like, oh, Mr. Sam, you look so nice. And then at a certain time, he disappears. He comes back downstairs. We're like, damn.
What costume change?
No, he is sharp.
Yeah, he's real.
Tell him how we were so happy it fit the
Well,
actor.
right, and so the actor that we chose to do the role to play him, ironically, fit every last piece of clothing item. So we saved money on wardrobe. He just slipped right into the attire, and it was like, wow, And it's that thing where you grapple with, oh, I want this star, and I want this actor, and I want this person, and then you find this actor, and you say, I think that person's going to be it, Charles Weldon, and then he fits into these clothes, shoes, everything.
I get chills because that's rare. That is a gift
It's
that
like-
you got right there. Yeah.
So so our only wardrobe budget for him was the cleaning bill.
Love it.
Line producer's dream. I was like,
Yes.
yes, Nadege, yes.
So actually, riding off of that, then I wanted to know if you could close us out with one tip. Both of you, give us one tip, one pro tip that you figured out while you were doing this film, or that you already knew that really did help to guide you through having the most successful production that you could have. And this is for me, but it's also for everybody who's watching out there, all these filmmakers.
Since you have the mic, you give it to
Okay. Lots of tips, lots of things or advice. The one advice I would say is, I'm a line producer, so and I didn't mention that earlier, line producer. I also play the temptress in the film. That tempts my friend here, take that money, girl. But so I'll speak from the line producer perspective. Beg, borrow, barter. Those are Michelle's 3 B's of filmmaking. So you either beg all your friends and family for money, you borrow money from friends, or you barter. So you promise to do something for a filmmaker friend and they do something for you, and live within the means. Like if you've got $10,000, you can make $10,000 work. If you got $100, you can make $100 work. You just have to be focused, laser focused on getting it done and remembering the 3 B's, like Michelle Baldwin.
Beg, borrow, barter. Love it.
Okay, so for me, in writing it, I made it producible. I focused on one location. So tell a rich story on one location. So that saved within the budget, which the line producer was happy about. And I would say that tip, always make it producible. Try not to have many locations. If you can tell a powerful story in one location, make it one location. And you can have a film. You can make the best $10 film, the best $200 film. Don't try to shoot at airports. That's not producible, because then you need a permit. Avoid where you have to have permits and stuff. Make it producible.
And also, by narrowing everything down to just one location, you get to save time and money on just like moving the crew from space to space too.
And then also having access to the location. I had access to Sam and his location. He sponsored his location. He was so happy that you're telling a story loosely based on him. He was excited. So, because you know it can cost a lot of money for location.
Yes, especially in New York.
Exactly.
Come on now.
So tell a story of someone who has a
Yes.
great location.
Yes. So that's what it was about. It's about producible. My first story, I had access to my godfather's 3,000 square feet house. So it was just like that was sponsored also. Producible. It could be in the living room. It could be in the bathroom. Make it producible
Yeah, don't feel like you have to go.
for low budget.
Don't feel like you have to go Hollywood, Martin Scorsese, or whoever, if all you have, is $500. You have to be You have to be realistic about what you're shooting and how you're going to shoot it, like Nadhege says.
Thank you for that practical advice. That's something that we can all either learn from or just be reminded of, because sometimes things can seem a little daunting during the pre-production process. And then sometimes while shooting, where's this money coming from? So keep it producible from the very beginning and you'll get a chance to cut around some of those corners. Thank you for bringing your film here. We're so happy to have you. And thank you all for tuning on in. Again, this is BFFNO TV. Keep it locked.